Hi and welcome. My name is Katrine and this is our Vampire the Masquerade stream, the Q&A after the interludes. And before we start this evening's Q&A with your guys' questions and our questions for one another, as per usual, for the last time after the interludes, I would very much like for my players to introduce themselves as well as their characters.
Hi, I'm Marianne, still. I play Siobhan Price, 10th generation trader, and yeah, she's still alive. I think that's good.
Well, dead. Still
Time will
dead.
tell.
Potato.
Hi, I'm Ty. I'm in the Chronicle. I'm playing Christopher Masters, the Ventru Prince of the City of Boston. Also, technically still, well, undead. Not dead, not alive. Still existing.
And I'm no longer the guest. I'm just Daniel now.
Oh, we gave you us.
We gave him a spot. What
Yeah.
good will come of it?
Yes. I play the Autumn Knight, the Prince of Daggers, the good stabby boy.
Good.
I mean, you came, you did your job.
Murder!
I came, I saw, I murdered.
Yeah.
As the saying
Now
goes.
that you're serious regular, we have shipped off the mandatory new guy T-shirt to you. It's in a delightful color red.
Yes.
Red shirt. No trivia, I love it. For this Q&A, Mariana is gonna take charge of the questions that you guys have asked us and the questions that we have asked of one another. So with no more chitter chatter, I'm gonna dilly-dally. I'm gonna leave the baton over to you, Mariana.
Thank you, I'll take
There
it.
you go.
So we had questions coming in from YouTube, from Instagram, and Instagram, and Facebook. So there's I'm going to jump between. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. So thank you very much for the questions. They were amazing. Yeah, much love. So yeah, to kick it off, this is a question that came from one of our fans from YouTube, and it actually goes to all of the players. So I'm thinking maybe we'll start with Katrina, and we'll go Taya, Daniel, and then I'll go last, because I don't want to listen to myself talk all night. Haha. So what expectations did you have before the interludes, and what changed throughout them? Because there were how many 46 interlude episodes? I'm not sure that was a plan, but
that changed. I'm gonna jump straight in. That changed massively. We needed time I needed for the story to have a certain amount of time to pass to really give the characters have a little bit more meat on the bone as like leaders in the vampiric community. But time passing in any game, it feels like a void. Because how the hell are you gonna start from one season to another season? That's just my opinion. Where you have 5 years of downtime, but you haven't played any of it. It feels very barren and it's difficult to play upon. That's my experience from prior games. So interludes was a good idea, but the interludes all of a sudden took a life of its own, and it needed more substance. And I knew also that my players knew they had also like a get out of jail free card, because I knew they couldn't die in the interludes. But I needed them to still feel a sense of urgency or playability, that there still would be some layer of horror, dread, or story. And that's why I approached Daniel. And from that, the story of the guest developed. And that became the pillar for the bigger part of the interludes. Yeah. So that changed. That changed.
How many episodes did you think it would be?
Um,
If you had a
I
Ballpark.
well, this is the golden rule of yes and Daniel had a certain level of free range, and when I saw what he wanted to do with it, and that he was not gonna be an idle little like, yes ma'am, I will go and murder now. When he started to interact with the world and give a shit, I said, oh shit, we actually have a genuine smaller campaign story within the interludes, and I was not gonna deny him painting the world, as I would not deny any of you guys to paint the world. If you see good play and if you see good story being developed, I'm not gonna stand in the way of it. So yeah, that changed. Yeah, Daniel changed quite a bit.
Cool. Ty?
Ooh, what changed? Well, I think Katrine touched a bit on it, about how it changed. It was that it took on a bit of a longer episode, a little more, and actually more plot. I haven't expected that many, well, hints about things to come. So many hooks, so many nuggets of the tower to come. So that changed a bit. So I didn't do all the small character ideas I had. I didn't utilize all of them because generally they paled a bit in interest compared to both dealing with and reacting to the world, and of course interplaying with Daniel. But I liked it. I mean, it was great fun. And it was great fun to do some smaller, just, almost just one scene loosely played. Because I really do believe it will help play the characters in season 3, and also will help to care both about NPCs and about events that's going to happen. Because there's already been sort of, you build a creative image on how they are and start building this relationship with them. And I find it really interesting. And as far as Katrine saying we had to get out of jail free card because we couldn't die, which is of course technically correct, but it is a running gag between us players. That's like death is the best thing you can hope for with Katrine as a storyteller. Aim for death. You've won the prize. It can only get worse from there.
At least you can control it yourself.
So I think I'm more scared of what evil things that could happen that were not death related technically, which of course happened. I mean, it's being a prince is kind of like playing whack-a-mole. Like you crash down one problem and two more pops up on others there.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Checks out.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So that's. So nothing really changed in that respect, but that we got that it took longer time. That we got to play more. They actually got a cohesive storyline as well. That was surprising, but very fun surprise. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Well, I came in expecting 2, maybe 3 sessions, and I was like, I'm going to go out in a just fiery pit of whatever the fuck happens, but. Yeah, the character sort of really grew quickly, and the depth just got too deep, and it was also just so much fun to play with these guys, and just I was allowed to just go with it, and I was like, well, yeah, if I can go on a little longer, and everyone was like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And I was like, well, fuck it, let's see how conniving this character can get and what I can get out of it as the character, sort of to not just jump in and murder, but to be the fey bastard that I play, and to be as true to sort of my goals and my intentions for the character became.
No, I mean, personally, I really liked it. I mean, not only because that lovely little runs you through into the storyteller's machine, which was muchly appreciated. It's also great fun to play with.
It's like seeing other players sweat.
It's absolutely fantastic to come in and be like, oh, you're gonna fuck a little bit with the players. I'm like, yeah. You have no idea how much I'm gonna fuck with your story though, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's
that
doing
helped.
a
No.
And now I'm here. Now I'm a part of it.
We're so excited.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
getting rid of me yet.
Yes!
Yet.
For better and worse.
I'm sure the Storyteller has a series of lists and ideas on how that's going to
there's pain. There's pain.
I can see the pain coming and just imagine the fuckery that I have to deal with now. That I don't have to just. My mission isn't to go in and kill someone. Now my mission is to
Survive.
survive.
Survive is harder, my dear. Survive.
And it's not only
harder.
survive. It's I have to take care of people now. Or things.
Thrive and survive. Now you know their struggle is goddamn real.
Yeah, exactly. Because now my problems aren't just whatever's in front of me.
Oh, that's so good. I think for my part, I had very low expectation because I didn't really know that you were doing interludes before. Like pretty long in, but I was on my maternity leave, so I knew you guys would do something. I just didn't know to what extent you would do it. So that was a huge positive for me because I could watch it while I was still on leave, and which kind of gave me a new perspective to the group, the story, and the characters. I thought it was really interesting being able to kind of like, what do you do with 5 years? Would to have the scenario of what can happen in 5 years, or like Katrine was like, pitch me your ideas of what you want to be able to do, either create something or develop relationships and those things. I thought was really interesting, like both the fact that it would be hooks that we could use for season 3, but also that we will have opportunities to do without actually not delving into 200 episodes to get there, but that we actually it was achievable to some extent.
Yeah.
Obviously not everything. If I said, hey, Shiv wants to be president of the United States, that wasn't quite within her ballpark, but I think being able to do, I didn't expect myself to sit in season 3 with a hotel burned down or not. I didn't expect to sit there with a brothel, but I do. So yeah, there it is. It's a lot of things that change. I don't think Shiv as a character has changed, but well, she has. But I'll get back to that.
Yeah, so a lot of relationship also has changed. I gotta say, for Christopher's sake, with Elizabeth, his three-parter when we did that interlude was
so good.
Was hard.
You didn't expect that, did you, Taya?
I kind of think he did. I think
we're going to get back to that as well.
Yeah.
Because another question to touching up, but not the details of it. Not the that part, but not that way. But it somehow would come back to bite me in the ass. I mean, we know who we're talking about here. So, like, care about anything? Odds are it will be used against you. Next time I'm playing on nihilists.
I think it's actually a really good, the follow-up questions from one of our fans was like from you, Katrina, and how these interludes have changed your characters. And obviously, Katrina, you can't really speak to a character. You can talk to an ensemble of NPCs, but you might not actually want to tell us about how they've changed. I don't know.
I can just do. I'll just do a very vague brush. Again, and I've said that in Q&As as well, is my NPCs are never static. They will do and change their opinions and action based upon their interactions with player characters. If they are swayed, persuade, taunted, teased to do something that I didn't immediately think they would do, as long as it makes sense narrative, it makes sense for the story, it will change. It will change. They are always flexible. So I can only plan to a certain point. After that, you guys do so many different things that I cannot predict or plan for. So yeah, my NPCs have changed a lot.
I'm just looking at Daniel here.
Changed a lot, for sure.
I'm just touching quickly on that before we go to player characters. And I also feel great because I think we have the same philosophy when it comes to NPCs there as well. They react to what you do, but it also means that they do things if you don't engage with them.
Oh, they do, yeah.
So that is, of course, when we interact with the story we created, it's very clear that when we're not there, these characters, these people, they still do things. They still plot, plan, and do. So if we choose to ignore or don't really.
They still exist.
No, yeah, it still exists. So if you don't notice that something's going on, it will fulfill itself.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting because that also it raises the stakes to a large degree for us as well. Not only that we can change things, but the power of not changing things by choosing the wrong thing, or not necessarily the wrong thing, but focusing on something else, and then that will bustle up or help or which also means that we could inadvertently create enemies because something we do could potentially ruin someone else's plan we don't know about, and then and they'll get
attention. And yeah.
So that's it. That's interesting.
But Taya, how do you think Chris has changed from season 2
Well, I think
to
it's
now?
definitely changed. I mean,
3?
definitely changed, and I think the key word there would be Elizabeth as well. But for the first time to a degree, realize what he has been lacking in his life, and realizing that someone else actually can mean that much to a person in that way, and then losing it, sort of does something with his priorities. Suddenly something seems less important in the grand scheme of things than others did. So as the same time as I also feel he's grown more into the role as a prince, like get a bit of a more understanding, like not just a theoretical understanding on how best to do things, but actually the practical problems and integrating it. I foresee that in season 3 that's going to come up, and that's going
I
to.
hope so. I would be disappointed
Yeah, I think
otherwise.
it's good. Yeah, but like to create a sort of a mismatch between what his original goals were and what he feels is needed, and what he can offer the city of Boston as prince versus his private ambition. And I'm fairly certain that those two are going to clash. And it's really fun to see. It's going to be fun the ride to find out which one he ends up.
Yeah, I'll just get my popcorn.
Yeah, like which one will he prioritize? Like will he live on with his constant saying that person isn't the same as important and sacrifice all that to the good, or for the what he perceives to be the betterment and the good of the Kenrid community, or well, will he not? I'm looking forward to finding that out. For sure.
Can I pick up that bone for a minute? Because I think actually all 3 characters, even though Daniel is new to this setting, he's also presented with the same potential dilemma as both Chris and the Shiv character is presented with, is responsibility / personal interest. I'm just curious to see if you guys find that difficult or easy to balance.
As a player, or like playing the character, I think it's difficult, because I think, I don't know, I feel like I think when I'm being Shiv, I'm very much in the moment, and I think I'm maybe I'll be honest and say I'm a bit of an emotional player. So whatever you toss my way, I'll react to that, and that can go both ways. But I think because Shiv's story has been so pointed from the beginning, she's a little bit different than Chris' character in the fact that he wants that responsibility. He wants to govern, he wants the power, he wants all of those things. So I'm sure he has other concerns than Shiv. And Shiv is more someone that does it, not for the sake of she wants to do it, but to protect what her end goal is going to be. So in that, I feel like I'm always like, she's always on like the floor is lava kind of situation, just like you're jumping from one stone to the other and just solving fires, and that can be, for Marianne, stressful. For Shiv, probably even more.
Oh.
I don't know if that answered it, but yeah.
Speaking of fire, then I'm curious about Daniel's.
Well, when it comes to the changing part, I don't really have much to say, because I wasn't in season 2, so it hasn't changed. I was changed from not being to being, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, about with sort of difference in goal of what they want versus what they sort of their duty. Well, it's gonna be more my character's thing, because yeah, as a Fae, when you give your word, you have to fucking live by that. and that's it's gonna create, like, for the characters, probably gonna be hell, because what they want to do and what they feel they should is definitely not gonna be the same. But as a player, I really enjoy that, because that makes it so I have, like, there is tough decisions and they have to be made. Because if it was an easy decision, like if it was like, oh yeah, I'll do this because this is clearly the best choice, then it wouldn't be as fun as it is. And especially with you guys, and because whenever something bad happens to one of us, the ring effects, and because of course when something probably goes really bad for one person, somebody else needs something from them, and they're like, not now, but I might need you later, but
Exactly.
Yes.
You
I
put
think-
on.
Yeah, and I think your point is good as well, Myrna, that Chris and she was sort of in the opposite side of the same coin.
They might
Where
end
she's
up
had
in the same place, though.
Yeah, but like you had the really private, personal goal and had responsibility thrust upon you, whereas Chris, in the other sense, had more feelings and a personal thrust upon him. Not thrust, but like accidentally pull him, and he's sort of interfering with his with that side, with his responsibility side. So it's grappling with sort of the same root problems, but from different ends of the spectrum. So that's it's an interesting duality for the two characters as well, and one that I think also to a large degree mirrors who they are in relation to each other as well. Sort of mirrors their relationship.
That's awesome. I haven't actually answered the question, the changed question. Should I do that? I probably should. I think Shiv, she started out a lot more warmer than where she's now. And that is obviously thanks to the fact that we played these characters as human beings before we did the whole dying and being a vampire and managing that. So I think for Shiv's part, she is fucking stuck in this idea and holding Aiden in such a standard, and I think she's so blinded by that, which makes her make terrible bad decisions. Terribly bad decisions. And I think she knows it, but I don't think she cares anymore. I think, like, if I'm not getting anything that I want, then just fuck you all. I think that's so she's become really hard. She was hard as a human, but now she's like even the way she's treating human beings and the ones closest to her. She's pushing people away instead of
Dragging them close.
I think Marianne's changed how I'm it's different.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a fun next follow-up question. Not a follow-up. So we talked about the differences and what we have expected from season 2 to season 3. If there is one moment that you could in the stories I'm just going to make the decision here and say from they became vampires to season 3. If there is a moment that you could change in their story, what would it be, and why would you want to change it?
Oh, we're just gonna. Then it has to be for Daniel in the interlude from the moment he arrived. Would he have changed anything? Obviously. Oh yeah.
Let's toss it to Daniel.
Yeah. I think maybe it was a little more Daniel than the Autumn Nights when he jumped in with a fucking genie. Mainly because I was curious to see how it went, and I think probably the survival of him would be a little bit more like, fuck it, I'm getting out of here, it's your problem now. burn this place to the ground, but I was like, I'm curious, and I was like, what's the worst that could happen apart from, exploding in the horrendous fire? Oh no, making a deal, that could happen. That could, yeah. Just for the character, I think that was probably the moment I would wish that didn't happen, and that he just let it burn instead and just walk away. Be like, cool guys, don't look at explosions.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a tough question. I mean, there's a lot of things they could have done differently, which probably would have, and the results would have been better for Chris. I mean, it would be more optimized results if you'd done other things. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to say if anyone wanted to change anything, because everything has led to such fun role-playing moments and such great. I mean, even when you dig yourself just deeper into the grave, it's more fun. I mean, sure, I could have made advice to reflect what Daniel said, but more player than the situation with Nikita when he had to choose between his mother and Amber and Elizabeth, and his sort of gamble on like getting more than what he originally could get was probably a bit more driven on the fact that that would present more interesting role-playing opportunities than just say, shoot those two and I'll keep Elizabeth and everything's okay. So I think that, but I'm glad I made that choice. I mean, I went in with eyes open, so I don't think there's any concrete choice that if anything, I should probably have been a little less cavalier towards the Queen of Bones. but like, it was just so, it just felt so good for Chris to just put her in a place and just, wield his little power over her with Patty and was. It was stuff. Yeah, sure, I'm sure it's going to bite him hard in the ass doing that. Well, it already almost did. I mean, it would have been quite horrible if it had not been for the Autumn Knight's trickery, which me approves.
Yeah,
so,
I could have massively fucked you over and just just gone and done that and just be like, here you go.
Yeah. But even then, it would the role playing possibilities in it is so much more interesting than the alternatives. So I really can't say
Definitely.
if it would change anything, because it just led to so much fun and so much juicy meat to explore.
I completely agree. Like, I'm making so many terrible decisions on Shiv's behalf. I'm sorry, Siobhan. Like, over and over and again. But I think, again, it's like, what? Well, if I do this, it could be boring. You know the end result and it's fine. Or you could do this, which is just, you don't know where it's going. You don't know what life is going to take, which is more fun. But I think maybe if I played Shiv more strategic than I think she is, or was, maybe that's one of her changes as well. Maybe she would treat the sheriff with a little bit more respect, just in general.
Just like the new one or the old one. I'm going to assume it's a new one. You're talking about.
Listen, Nightingale.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to come and haunt me in season 3 for sure. And then obviously Queen of Bones. I know this was season 2, but I would have liked to see the outcome if I actually tried it her way instead of just getting into bed with Hashimoto and the crow. I don't know. I mean, I love the relationship that has come out of it, but it will be interesting seeing where all of these NPCs are going to. How are they going to be in season 3? Yeah. Katrina, do you have any?
I'm going to play the 5th.
That's fine. Yep.
Judge what you may from her smile.
A strategic maneuver. I'm gonna play the 5th on that one.
And because you're doing that, just like completely rhetorical questions. How scared are we that gloves are off for season 3?
Well, I'll refer to my earlier answer. Duff is winning. Oh, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't think there
how
were
good.
any gloves for me ever, so
No,
bring
I was
Bring
ready
it.
to murder him from the get go.
Oh yeah,
So
exactly. And
He's used to
we
this
both
terror.
agreed. There's like, if I die in 15 minutes, I die in 15 minutes, and that's fine.
but he didn't, and I liked him.
Yeah.
Now I want to play some more with him, so I
Yeah.
keep him.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but
That
just
can
in
come
that
later.
sense, I'm definitely foreseeing a more, when it comes to like vampiric powers. I definitely foresee some investments to be made in fortitude and not just mental fortitude for Chris in the future. I definitely foresee some experience points being diverted to being able to sustain more than one bullet shots.
I'm just gonna get a full suit of armor. Just walk in a full suit of armor at all times.
That sounds smart. Sounds
Yeah.
very smart.
Yeah. Super stealthy.
I love it for you. So sneaky.
Oh yeah.
Not squeaky at all.
No, I just
No.
clang clang down the road.
Cling clang all over the place.
Yeah.
No problem. Chris has a little oil canister he carries with him everywhere he goes. He can help you.
Oh, don't go in the rain. Whatever you do.
Is that a full warning
I don't know.
for season
I
3?
played the fifth.
Season 3,
Okay,
it's gonna rain
because you're
it's
all
just
the time.
nothing but rain. Just
Rain.
like, oh yeah, beware of the rain. It's just like in season 3, it rains.
I went, don't go outside.
A dark and rainy afternoon. Everybody like,
Oh, there's always dark and rainy.
Note to self: check out the possibilities for vampiric society on Hawaii.
Hey!
do not
Because
move
you're
to
playing the
Stavanger.
5th, Katrine.
Yeah.
I have to send this next question to you. So, because you are observing a lot of the random shit that we do.
Yeah.
And a lot of the scenes that you may not have a huge part of. You usually are, but there are some moments. So, do you have, through the interlude, do you have any of like best and or worst moment with NPCs and players? Either player, like, it doesn't matter who's involved, but scenes that kind of either blew you away or just really shook you.
Not to be biased, obviously, because the last interludes are the ones I'm going to remember better. Because
Obviously.
we played so many of them.
So many.
So many. From an emotional standpoint, we touched in on it. The 3 scenes, the 3 time loops with Elizabeth and Chris, I thought was beautifully painful to play. So that's one of the scenes that stood out, and I also thought that would be very important to drive his story ahead, so he didn't become like complacent of the decisions he has made. And the reason why I said that as well is like Shiv. I'll get to you, Daniel. Don't worry. For Shiv,
Don't have to.
Shiv lives in a perpetual state of making bad decisions.
Just rub it in.
The moment she pushed Hashimoto, for example, it shows her a dangerous bravado. She flirts with catastrophe at any moment. She's an incredibly fun character because she leans into that. Ty and Chris are more calculated. So doing that very heavily emotionally scene to see him plead, I thought that was very moving and hard to play.
Also to watch.
Yeah. Because I knew, and he knew, that this is a good scene, but it was almost emotionally unpleasant to play. But I'm proud of it. Not to say I'm not proud of everything we do, but that was unpleasantly fun for me. Unpleasantly fun.
Pleasantly unfun.
That's fine.
That's a good way to see it. Yeah.
Unpleasantly fun.
No, that's tough scenes, but like from a player's standpoint, I loved it as well. It was, I mean, unpleasantly fun describes it well. It's fun to be able to dig into the emotional side of it as well. Not only because it's something else I haven't done that much, so it's fun to explore that, but also the ramifications and the way it takes the character. And also it's fun to get to have moments where you can just let pathos rule and not just logic. Just let
the feelings
dig down and go deep.
I don't know. Maybe it's the sadist in me that I like Taya being a little bit on edge and not knowing what's going to happen. I don't know. Might just be me.
I'll try to keep up the terror balance by hinting at all the evil things I'm going to do for the storyteller's little plots, but we'll see.
Well, and as with Mayanas, I think is when she went after Hashimoto, when she finally started asking questions, and not just taking, but asking. But there's also another bloody scene. She's got, there's been so much. She has high pathos. All the time she's got a high arc of drama, and I think that scene with Hashimoto when she was down and cold and she started asking questions and pushing back, I thought was interesting. Because she wasn't just drowned in emotion and blood and the pathos of it all. She actually started peeking into something she doesn't really want to peek into, I think. And for Daniel, because she pulled the fast one on me.
Yes.
And I gotta say also, when he introduced his character, I thought that was a very fucking fun way of doing it, because he went bold deep with the voice and the demeanor, and it was no doubt a Fae had arrived. It's the way he described himself, it's the way he was talking, it was the way he was taunting the undeads. I knew at that moment I had something, and I wasn't necessarily going to give it up that easy. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's my answer.
Yeah, good. I could take this around, but I think we would be using at least another hour answering that. So, I'll bank that questions for the players for now.
Yep.
I feel like this is actually to me, but I'll just throw it out there to the group. Favorite ghoul? There's been so many or so few. I don't know.
I'm surprised you're still naming yours. And it's just going by numbers.
I mean, I Eve is definitely my favorite, but that's just.
Well, I mean.
But I'm the only one that actually has.
I think ghouls will be more evident and present in season 3 maybe. Taya has been starting using his more, but he's a prince, so he's got some.
Yeah, dozens.
Yeah, I mean, like for my part, the one that really has been flashed out, like they had interactions with, and sort of is more ghoul by accident, is Amber.
Yes, for sure.
But they don't really. But they don't really have a ghoul master relationship to that degree. He treats her probably surprisingly familiar and equally.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, than would more because actually, which is something maybe goes also the way how it changed. That didn't happen in interludes before. Like the act of actually saving her life, but actually the feeling that actually did something. I mean, yeah, there are bad elements to this, but. Hey, I too can do good things.
I do good things.
Though, albeit with a huge fucking... well, they could also be useful. It's hardly completely selfish.
You do have Jack, which we've seen a little bit. Actually, I have to thank you, Katrine, for allowing us to play our ghouls, which none of us saw coming. So again, also that kind of piggybacks back on Daniel. Thank you for... Yeah. And you don't know any of our ghouls, but you met them all. So who's your favorite?
Who's your favorite?
Not Jonathan.
He's a body bag.
Yeah, he's a suit. He's a meat
thing.
Slosh pile. Ooh, favorites. I think for the Prince of Daggers, absolutely none of them, because they're all disgusting things that serve the undeads, and they should be put on pikes. But
I heard on bikes. Like, okay.
yeah, bikes. Sure, put them on bikes.
Put them on bikes. Get them going. Get them out of town.
Here. But I have really enjoyed how Eve, especially knowing that she has no idea what she's actually talking to when she thinks she's talking to a ghoul, and just like just beneath the skin is this horrid thing, and I'm just like, yeah, you wouldn't have this tone, but yeah, bring it, sure. I love this.
I'm gonna go with Eve as well for that. She's a great character, and I love the dynamic with Shiv and Eve, because Shiv is such a
bitch.
Yeah. And poor Eve is so trapped into desperately wanting her appreciation, her.
I mean, Eve, she won even a poker match, so I don't know.
But I think it beautifully, actually, if I can interject, it beautifully shows the horror of the vampire game as it is described, with a vampire master and a ghoul. Is the ghoul will give a very distorted, perverse version of love. Yeah. That is a master to a slave. Ghouls are, it's not to be romanticized. They are slaves. They are addicts. They will crawl on broken glass to please their masters, if you so choose. And I think there's a difference if you look at Christopher and Shiv. Shiv would be inclined to broken glass. Chris at this point with Amber would not.
No, but also I think it actually reflects the difference in
how person. God damn it!
Yeah, I'm just saying how they use the ghouls.
Yeah, but it reflects also a bit how they came into it. Like you said, you won in a poker game versus actually saving
giving a shit and being into war together, like fighting for survival. It's different, but it also reflects on the views of vampires has on life, and I think Mayan is playing that beautifully in the dynamics with Eve, is showing the beautiful, horrible, perverse relationship. And sometimes I can see she feels bad about it, but then she chooses also to forget.
Yeah, and I think for my part, I think I like, she has a lot of love for Eve. Like
to a point.
Yeah, definitely.
To a point.
But you know how you mistreat the ones that you love?
Oh my god!
More than others?
What the heck? No, you cannot justify this, and I will not hear it.
I'm not justifying it, and not at all. No. But I think if Shiv could choose, not Marianne, she would probably just choose all the ghouls that Willem brings to Hashimoto. Thank you for your service.
It's like if you ask a farmer who their favorite cattle is, and they're like, well, they're all gonna be slaughtered, but that one's real nice.
Doris is nice. I gave her a name.
Yeah, it's old Betsy. Yeah, she's gonna die soon.
No, but
and that's you, Betsy.
Yes, but so representing the overall ghoul vampire situation, I think even Shiv is probably the best, most interesting role-playing exploration of that. As far as Jack concerned, I think it'd be great to fun to play him. I think it could turn into a really fun player character. But as a ghoul, he's a surgical tool. He's a surgical tool. He's the one you send if you need to do someone to plan a bank robbery or an armed extraction, something like that. It's.
But can I then just lean on the question to Daniel again, because obviously he doesn't have ghouls, but he has Jonathans. And I'm curious, because you had a lot of freedom when it came to creating your Jonathan.
Yeah.
And you didn't necessarily want to have a lot of love there. And I like the dynamic, I gotta say, with your Jonathan.
It's amazing.
And the thought process behind creating and choosing your Jonathan. Because I know you had some thoughts about that.
Yeah, choosing the Jonathan was like how it actually ended up being the one I had, I think, was the day off when we started playing, because I think up until then I'm a DM for D&D, so I also have based a lot of sort of I picked out candidates, and I think I had a list of about 20.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, fuck, okay, where are we gonna go on this? And I started narrowing it down, and like it was pretty much all over the spectrum of anyone, but I don't know. I think it was just something about a character that I've made long ago that was sort of it was based on an NPC I had, I think, in my second campaign ever as a DM, which was in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, and just an NPC that really stuck with me. That sort of, he wasn't really a nice guy, but this is deeper lore of Jonathan that would ever be necessary. But it's wasn't not a nice guy, but sort of not really his fault either, because sort of just, the ones who grow up where thing is shit, and you sort of adapt to it and all of that. But then came across the previous Jonathan and sort of was the reason I had to discard him. Was he I wrote down a backstory.
I know you did.
We love this.
And
You
so
posted.
he was a drunk driver and sort of hit the previous Jonathan, and sort of as a revenge for killing the Jonathan that I had, then it became that one, and he was like, "You did this to yourself," sort of thing. In
And I love the pathetic dynamic. Well, he's pathetic, and I love the dynamic. It was fun to play.
Yeah.
I love me a Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a quick question there though. For season 3, do you foresee needing a lot of them?
Oh, so many, so goddamn many. Oh god, I need a roster. It's gonna be so painful because new Jonathans are not easy.
They scream.
Yeah, they scream so much, and they have problems with the things you're doing and don't want to be there. And I
Complaining.
them down
Do you still hear the screams of the night?
all of the time.
All of the
probably.
time.
All of the time. Which is why he was so annoyed when the other one died. Just like, God damn it.
Well, someone brought him back to you before that time. I mean, you could have lost him earlier.
Yeah, he got to stay around for a little bit longer. Just tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
Right.
Yes.
So, we have a few questions that I'm just looking at time. There's a lot of questions. So I think a lot of these questions would actually be fun to save for after season 3. So I am saving them in a little bank. And then I'm going to drop Katrine some questions
All
first.
right.
Again.
I love the attention.
So we have waited a very long time. How many years have we been playing now? 2, 3? I don't know. I lost count.
3?
A lot of, yeah, I think so. So we used a lot of time, and I know that in your mind you have this murder board.
I have a murder palette, but
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah. So when you create, when you started out and you saw what happened in season 1, you saw what happened in season 2, and now you're gone into the interludes, and now we're starting season 3. How far ahead have all your little threads are you planning ahead? I know you can't plan because we fuck up your plans, but is there things from season 1 that we will see in season 3?
Yeah. I've planned, and I don't know if they're going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
I've had 3 different endings for this campaign.
Is one of them that we're all dead?
Yeah.
I just needed to check that. Yeah.
No. But it's been because I don't know what the players do. I don't necessarily focus in on that too much. It's what the NPCs want. So let me say they have long game. And some have lost their momentum, and some have grown in momentum. Some have gotten the things they needed, and some have, as Taya said, some have been ignored and left to their own devices, leaving me room to plot and plan.
I think they have gotten what they wanted.
But things change. An introduction of Daniel changed also something, but it doesn't change the NPCs' agendas. It just changes the flow of how and when, in a sense. But the NPCs still have from day dot. I have had an endgame. And all the threads that I've been throwing out will things from season 1 now will come crawling back up to season 3.
I'm guessing, like, with all your little threads, that we have interrupted a few of those threads, at least.
For sure. Many.
Maybe. Is there anything that you kind of had in your mind that would happen, that we fucked up so much? Like, is there moments of disappointment for you, of things that you thought would be amazing, but we won't see it now because we, I don't know, messed with your story?
Oh, that's very hard to answer, because I think that's something I have to answer after season 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you haven't disappointed me, but it would be nice for me to actually tell you when things changed. But I can't say that yet. I can't say.
Damn it.
But I've said it before in other Q&As, is my world is not static. And you move objects, you move NPCs, wants and needs constantly, and you push some of them and you leave some onto their own devices. That is my board. That's how I work. And if I say too much about it, I'll give you I'll give you guys cues to, oh shit, we forgot about that. I have pivotal moments. I have, but they are minute. It's like a couple of scenes where a conversation should have been had, or a door should have been slammed, or you should have paid attention to something being said. They are not the big bangs, because they are obvious and they come and you will pick up on them. These are the small little, like someone looks fatigued, or someone is forgotten, and that I can tell you.
Wearing a red shoe.
And that I can actually say in after season 3, when all is said and done, I will give you those moments.
We will hold you accountable for that.
But the only thing, when Ching, I can say recently in the interludes, because Daniel is new and he did change something, and he changed it for Chris. And I did not see that coming, because that's new, and I can't say, because he did change it. I can't say to you guys because I can't give it away, because then you will sit like this and you will listen. He changed when he fooled the queen. That was something I didn't anticipate, and I was gonna ride that bitch when it came to Chris's. And it was intended, I can say, from that point of view, at that point, to push him. And I'm not going to say how much and why, but it was to push him. Fair?
Oh, don't worry, I have vengeance planned.
But then, as to
Because you know about it, and it's not going to come out of nowhere. By the way, you murdered someone. Like, no, I didn't do this one.
But I think that's like an evidence to how I am as a storyteller. He changed something, hence things change. So that I planned, it will not.
Thankful.
Yeah, and then that what I thought cannot happen, because then I railroad and I don't give the role playing and a character fair justice, but he did that. But you guys have done that to me several times when you change things. I just can't necessarily say too much about that yet.
No, but if you don't want to talk about that, I'll ask another question. You said you had 3 scenarios at least, and one of them we all die.
Yeah.
If we all die, do you have a plan when we die? Like, if Shiv dies in episode 2, do you have a plan for what's going to happen? The extent of that season? And a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to color you, paint anything, but if we die, if we all died, and you could save one. That's a horrible question to ask. But I didn't write it.
That's like sitting at a family dinner. All your children's gonna die. Save one of them. It's like
unfair.
What the hell? This is the last thing I'm gonna ask before I ask for a pee break. If I could save one of my children, what the fuck?
No.
I mean, you did it to.
Come on, everyone knows that parents have a favorite. Come on.
No, I know exactly what I would do. If I was in the situation, say the story came to a point where everyone's life is absolutely in dire straits, I would give, if you're not all together individually, I would make it so that the choice would be yours indirectly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I would rinse my hands off. I would say, here it is. You choose what you do. Someone will die. It's based on your choice.
I am pushing the red button. Just 100% of the time, I'm pushing the red button.
Yep,
Just,
yeah.
If you
Because
put a button in front of me, I'll push it.
I can't choose between you. It would be
Okay, if you can't choose between us,
can't.
if you can save one NPC.
He's already killed that one, I think.
Well, she's killed a lot, right?
Yeah, I know who I would save.
But you're not telling?
Dave, who runs the hot dog stand.
I can't be the dickish and not answer any question. I can say who I would save, actually. Based on the character, because I know the character so well now. And I know what they think and why they do what they do so very, very deeply. I would say JJ.
That was my guess. God damn it, we should have done a pool.
No, that's the character I would say.
Yeah. Nice.
I support this message.
Yeah, me too.
You should be very scared when I said that.
Yeah,
That
because
looked
I
sad.
think that's going to bite
No.
Chris's ass.
Oh no, I don't think it's not for Chris's benefit. It's more for Chris's future plans, not involving himself. That would mean someone will take care of a certain someone else and give them a chance to one day rule.
Oh. But can I ask for a break?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Can I?
Because that was the last question that's kind of going to the round table. We're dipping after the break. We're dipping into questions one-on-one. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Because, I have been drinking tea and I'm a child.
Well, what can I say? We'll be right back after these words from our sponsor.
After these messages.
Bye.
After this month.
Welcome back from the break. More questions, please.
Yeah. So we're going to send direct questions into the players. So Katrine, you can just relax.
Kick back and relax.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting comfy.
And
judge.
And use whatever we are saying against us in season 3. You're welcome. Okay, so we're going to send some questions to Ty. Yeah.
Fire away.
Oh, you have a little thing for the ladies. You're a lady the man. I don't think that's necessarily what you thought about Chris in the beginning, but that's
No,
where you ended up, right?
I mean, ladies, problems. I mean,
Yeah.
he sort of just collects them all, doesn't he? Yeah, no, he has.
So,
And I think a lot of that sort of stems in from wasn't originally planned, but I think to a large degree it also stems from his inability to largely to give of himself and to be honest, because he's really just not good at giving. He's a taker. He takes, and he's not really good at giving, and that I think he has reflected in a lot of interpersonal relationship as well as in a lot of other relationships, but particularly in interpersonal ones. Instead of just shutting down Jade back in the day, say he wasn't interested in saying, well, he sort of thought, yeah, well, it can't be that rude. I have to, and just ends up making everything worse because he really is not apt in that situation at all.
No.
And to last, he's manipulative, but he's not very charismatic. He's not really someone who's good in interpersonal in a general level, but he's very good at playing, putting on a mask,
manipulating,
I think I said it before. He has some sort of. We probably describe him as some sort of high functioning psychopath to a certain degree. Psychopaths can have emotions as well, but it's generally really rooted in me.
I think he's got mommy issues. I'm just saying.
No
Oh
shit.
yeah. That also, I think. I mean, to a lot of people, I mean, he's played a lot of that as well. Like background story of the character is that, like, his father is in prison, which he's convinced he's serving innocently, that he didn't commit the murders. Said he did not. Chris doesn't know. I don't know if just Storyteller has decided either. But
I know.
but odds are, of course, that he's have a much more idolized view of his father and was left in a home that was anything but particularly filled with love to a large degree, with a mother who had her own problems to a large degree,
Yeah.
mental problems, and was probably not the best caretaker for him. So he's like idolized his father, distant relationship with his mother. I mean, imagine Pink from Pink Floyd's The Wall album, like his relationship with his mom, to the degree that they're, but not that overprotected, but the same sort of dysfunctional mother relationship, which also undoubtedly bleeds into his relationship with women as well.
And on the topic, or on relationships with all of these women, I have 3 things I would like to know.
Yep, fire away.
So, if you were to rate them from like your favorite to your least, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We
I'm
did it
curious.
Yeah. So we're
I'm
going
like-
that's one of the questions, and you have to give us like explain to us why. And the second one is, how do you plan to deal with them and these problems? If you can give any tidbits before season 3, if you have like strategy, which I think you do, and which relationship will bite you the hardest in season 3? There we go.
We can start taking the last one first, because that's just the easiest one. Because I don't think I think the most obvious answer to that, of course, is Elizabeth. I think that it's not going to be in a big. I mean, I'm not counting Nikita, because he's never had a relationship in any sense of word with her, really. That's just been pure antagonism. So yeah, Elizabeth's going to bite him hardest. What I'm foreseeing is actually going to be his downfall is probably going to be somewhere completely different, coming out of left field or from behind with a knife. I'm looking at you, JJ, or as also known as the Storyteller. Elizabeth Fairchild, definitely his shoulder. That's just such an effed up situation all round. So that's definitely the one that's going to bite him in the ass. And the other one, rank him. Which ones are Chris's favorite? Which ones are mine? Let's play a favorite. Or should we do
both. Just go for it.
And I assume you're going to go for the ones that. Are we talking about?
I mean, obviously, Shiv is one of your ladies.
Yeah, but we're talking about, like we're going to go for personal relationships. Like we're not going to throw in, like, it's easy to throw Queen of Bones on the bus,
she's not one of your ladies.
Nope. That could be Taya's one of Taya's favorite.
But okay. So one of my least favorite. So I don't think there's any least favorite. I think
Favorites.
3 favorites. As a player, JJ is one of my favorite in the sort of NPCs there. She's fantastic like that. Yeah, that's to logically that is probably the mother figure he'd wish he'd had, which is probably also why Chris likes her a lot, because he feels more looked after and cared for, even though it's very much more the blood running through his veins. That's just something interesting, not necessarily the person
for you.
Yeah. Like she's a stable influence that he completely lacked in his mother and never had. So that's no reason. Other second favorite. I mean, like you said, such dishy scenes with Elizabeth. I think it was so important for the character arc. So even though I love, like, I probably enjoy more on a just frivolous, like, enjoyment matter, more interacting with Amber than I did with Elizabeth as a player, because it's in the sense of just having fun with the character. I do believe that Elizabeth provides much more meatier interactions,
character building.
Yeah, character building. But and that's definitely, of course, is Chris's favorite, like what he wanted, what the relationship he could have had with her was probably too late in his life realized that this is what actually is meaningful. This is what I should be pursuing my whole life, and not what I did. But my favorites, personal favorites, all time as a player, and I think the one that Chris could not have done without, that's gonna be Shiv, because the little tug of war, that pulling away butting heads and then pulling back. It's so fun. It's like talking about favorite little scenes as well. It's one in Italy is one of those where they just walk together and talk and like finding each other again and then kind of pushing each other back.
I love the one that we were like pinky.
Yeah,
like,
pinky. Yeah, that's
that was the weird.
That's become so organic, so 100% organic for both playing and for two personal character we've created ourselves to play.
Shiv's not any trouble.
No. I don't know, she can be. I mean, she completely like, all of a sudden, you gotta fix this, Chris. You're the prince. No. This is problem. Fix. Like. No, so I think I'm gonna go with those translations. So largely we overlaps between what my favorite and Chris' favorite would be, but yeah, like I said, it separates the problem. What I think it's easiest, the funniest to play, which to me, but yeah,
good answer.
Those, yeah. And season 3, I think. No, the middle question there again. That was.
It was. What's your plan for dealing with these?
I don't think Chris. I mean, dealing with Elizabeth, I'm not gonna tell you because the storyteller is missing. But it's probably gonna put Chris in a new low. Like she's probably gonna be some of the worst things he's done technically. And the other side, I think he has. I think like when it comes to like the problems of Jade and the problems to other degrees, but he's definitely just gonna ignore it, which he generally does in something, and it's gonna bite him in the ass. But
I love that he ignores shit. It's good for me.
Like this isn't pleasant. I don't want to deal with this. It's not that important. It's just personal. It doesn't really matter.
Shuffle paper when he does it. Oh, we'll take this tomorrow.
And of course, one of the reasons. I also think one of the reasons also quite the fundamental difference he has with Amber as a ghoul versus you, Shiv and Eve, is that he and Amber has an overriding common goal. Eve's goal is to please Shiv. Shiv's goal is to use Eve as a function, like to have her to be useful.
I don't know my.
Yeah. We all know she's gonna be sacrificed at one point or later. But when it comes to Amber, they have a common goal. That's something they both want.
Yeah.
And so that's his plans when it comes to her. Of course, is to use her for all it's worth and help getting to achieve that goal. Like,
yep.
That's.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Since you brought it up, I'm going to toss the questions my way. We're going to park you a little bit before we drop back to you. On the topic of everyone is so interested in my goals. I don't know why, but there is a nice question that what is Shiv's views on her goals? Are they simply disposable assets, or does she have any actual feelings for them? I think that's a tough question. It's easy, but it's tough. Because I think Shiv has feelings for her goals, but I think she is, again, I mentioned it before, I think she is so singular, like she has one goal. And if you are standing in the way of that goal, tough titties. If you either help her or get out of her way, and I think that's and that goes a lot to her feelings to NPCs and player characters, everyone.
Nobody has noticed that.
No.
Nobody.
I'm just speaking about a hot tub bathroom swimming pool scene.
What?
I'm just saying.
It's fine.
Nothing happened.
It's fine.
Are you okay?
Not sure how consensual that was.
It's a European thing. Don't worry about it.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. It was just a swamp. It's okay.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, Shiv cannot afford feelings. I think that's the thing. She has them, but she has to put them like on the back burner. She has to force them down, cannot rely on them because they are a distraction. So that's going to be a lot of fun for everyone except Marianne. once that pressure pot bursts. It's not going to be pretty. Let's
Popcorn.
just say that.
Very nice if you can provide me a sort of ballpark time when that's going to happen, so Chris can be away on business trip somewhere when it.
Yep. and as a very nice follow up to that, the next question is there anything, any line that Shiv would not cross in order to get her love back? How do you think Chris would react if he learned the full truth of Shiv's actions? First one, no.
I knew that.
Yeah, I think that's
But I'm gonna follow up question to that. Like, listen, no, but do you think the storyteller would be able to construe a situation where you would actually struggle? Like, give you a line to cross that you think Shiv, not you, but Shiv would have a problem with crossing. I think there's a possibility.
Katrine is a manipulative bastard. So yeah, I'm sure she would. She's more creative than me, so she would definitely be able to do that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what that would be. That would be something really dark and evil, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm not sure I actually want to see that. I don't like scary movies. No. Next thing is how you think Chris. Oh God. How do you think Chris would react? The thing is, they have such an old relationship. They have such a strong bond that we're seeing being tugged at, and like it's the rubber band that keeps them coming back to each other, and then it kind of loosens again. I would hope for the sake of the city and Chris that he would sacrifice Chris if need be. Because I think she's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
To everyone.
Oh, I'm sure he has the sort of Batman in Justice League. He has sort of the folder ready, it's just like in case.
And
I think in that folder it's a drawing or a picture of a casket with a name, and he knows where it's going to be placed. And she's not going to necessarily be dead, but she's going to have a stake through her heart. And yes, that's where I foresee.
Don't worry, I got a fridge with your name on it.
Exactly.
Increase the freezer space.
Yeah.
No, but interesting you saying that, because I think how Chris would view that changed significantly with the scene that Katrine brought up when what happened to Elizabeth happened. Because pre-losing Elizabeth, pre-having to like push her away, and like before falling over that, I think he would have reacted a lot different. I think it would be easier for him to like, oh, she was completely out of control. She has to be stopped for the best of everyone. Like, needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few, so we'll have to do that. And I think it's tougher for him afterwards. And I think if he would sort of stop her endangering the entire city of that, it would be less than because it's the sort of correct thing to do, and more because he'd actually be worried about Shiv, because he'd see when she's lost in trying to gain what she wants, and sort of coming to the decision that it would be better for her not to be this person.
Wow.
And perhaps then I think that it would take that, but also I think he would be even more, because now that he actually dared finding her, but like, I think it'd be very hard for him to risk to lose the last person that he has actually.
God, I want to watch that.
Meaningful, equal emotional relationship to, because he's had to push Elizabeth away. So the only one he's still, and Siobhan has got away, and the only one that he actually has this bond with anymore is Shiv, and that would be hard for him to sever.
Alright, okay, yep.
But I can say this. I can't see for the like the character style. If it'd be up to one of us, we could all sing one, and it'd be up to us to say one. You could risk that Chris would sort of try to be noble and bank on saving Shiv. That could happen.
Let's see.
Or you can find out the best way to save her is to give her peace and let her be with her lover.
Saving
again.
is
she really wants to be with him. Does it have to be him that comes to her? I mean, she could go to him as well. I mean, Just
Yeah,
saying.
you love rates, so it's
Yeah.
it's fine.
There's one more. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, I can take you out into the sunrise. I'll be fine.
They can walk you out and say, look at Nelly, the sun is...
After the Lion King, I'll hold you up.
I think it's more
Thank you,
chop your
Daniel.
head off and I left it up to the sun, or just throw it in a trash can. Wasn't that what you did? And set fire to it?
Oh. Well, because you want to save me, Daniel, we're going to jump to you.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, if we've touched on this before, correct me, jump over this question. But I think you are such a new player to the group, and we've played for so long together, and we didn't know you before. So, how was it for you coming into a very established group and established storyline in the middle or / the end of it? And like, did you have expectations? Were you? I'm guessing you weren't that disappointed since you're still with us, but still, like, what was your expectation going into this? Did you have any?
Well, first of all, I had seen nothing. Still, I've only seen the parts where I...
So rude, so rude.
I know. But I've always had an eye on sort of tailweavers, and sort of always were like, oh, you're the cool kids. One day I wish I'd be like that. And now I'm here. But yeah, it was a challenge, but I think we found sort of like a chemistry real quick. And
We love you.
I knew Katrina quite well before and had full trust in her, and that when she said she had full trust in me and sort of we talked a little bit, I was very clear on sort of what my character was going to start as, at least, and I think it also was really fun coming in as a character who also just had no connections at all. Literally, just both me and the character just dropped in there and just like, yeah, deal with it, and it was confusing but really fun.
If I can just interject, I think that was very important for him not to come in as anything else but what we decided for him to do in this world and this setting, and what I needed him to be. For him to come in as another vampire or a mage or a werewolf, whatever the hell it would be, it would demand a lot of Daniel, of a world he hasn't played a lot in. When I gave him
rules and new systems.
Yeah, and I gave him sorry, the wording sounds really bad. A bastard version of Fae, like changelings, but it's my version coming from playing Hunter for so long. So hardcore Fae players or changeling players, don't chastise me. This is a version coming from Hunter. And because he knows D&D so well, we brainstormed, and when I saw what he could do with what I gave him, I was like, God damn, I think we got something. Call it in. Call it in. And he reacted genuinely to the situations. And if he had to rewatch everything and be coached, he would come in with a pre-plan. He had to react naked to everything.
Yeah, on that, I'm sorry, because it's really good that you're saying that, because for me, observing, like, for me, it was so seamless, like, both the integration of the character, Faye, but also you, Daniel, because you weren't very, you haven't played a lot of Vampire World of Darkness, right?
I played nothing.
Exactly.
This is
So-
what I've played.
See, I was trying to be nice. So, nothing.
No,
He's
nothing.
a noob.
I
Cool.
knew nothing. I knew that it existed, and I've seen 5 minutes of a vampire stream at some point.
Right.
I think it was episode 2.
So
I
everything
saw
that
5
Katrine...
minutes just in the middle of...
Yeah.
of
That makes
season
no
one.
sense.
Yeah, I was
So,
like, I
because-
don't get it.
You're getting tossed into a system, even though you're not playing with that system, we are relying on that system. We have disciplines, we have a lot of, like, we have stuff, vampire, Dark World of Darkness stuff, and that you actually have to react to. So you just winged it, is that just the natural of Daniel, just being dropped in the middle of the ocean and just nailing it?
You don't drop me in the middle of the ocean. Just in the middle of vampires and fantasy shit. Yeah, hell yeah, that's my jam. I mean, look over my shoulder here. I mean, it's I do nerd shit. I love I love fantasy stuff. So I had a vague idea, and as Katrine said, we talked quite a bit about Fae, and I asked a lot of questions like, okay, but how are Fae in this world compared to in other systems, not only D&D but like folklore and all of that. And when I had what I sort of thought I needed, I was like, okay, sure, I got it. I don't know how much of the things work and how combat works and how time works, but we'll figure it out.
No, but it's a bit of a challenge, and I'm really glad you took it. But also, I think it might actually been. Even if you had played Vampire before, I think it's a new well. I think coming into a story that far in, I think it almost is easier by not playing a vampire. Would be for everyone as well, because then it's not just new for you, but it's also something new for us, and it sort of makes it very natural that sort of testing the water and like engaging and sort of like.
Definitely.
Prodding and poking each other to find out, okay, what is this? What is this?
What kind of ghoul is this? Oh, wait.
It is not.
It is not. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
No, and I think I'm going to give Daniel mad cred for coming into a group that's so established, and I would say are very role player characters that go very character heavy. He picked up on it immediately and saw what kind of dynamic and what is expected of him.
I had a lot of fun playing against Daniel.
Yeah. Hot under the collar. It goes to show also if this trust that goes, and I've said this before, if the trust goes both ways, or three ways between the players, players individually and players to me and me to them, this is what you can do. You can give a lot of free range because they are not gonna blow up a bar just for shits and gigs. They're gonna be concerned about driving a story ahead for themselves and for their character. And that's why I gave Daniel, I gave you a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
What did I say? Well, I gave you 2 rules, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't kill the Queen of Bones.
And don't kill the player characters.
Yes. Yeah.
How strong is your hatred towards Queen of Bones now? And what does he feel about Shiv and Chris?
Yeah.
Oh,
we want to know.
There are plans, but I can't say too much because there's a storyteller here.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a character built for murder, so let's see if we can do some murder. And well, Chris and Shiv, there's so much that I still need from them.
I don't think we're getting what we want, what we need from Daniel tonight.
Everybody's sitting with their cards like this. Yeah. I'm sitting with my cards like this.
I'm just gonna put him on the list.
Okay, I'm actually gonna say.
I'm not already on the list. I doubt that.
No! You. No, not the autumn night. No. See you at the red wedding. I mean, what?
See you on Saturday, bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little drink I made for you, Daniel. Oh, good. Please enjoy.
But this is something I find interesting, and I know a lot of the traditional vampire, now the V5, with the coteries, and that you're supposed to be a very almost like a camaraderie, like a companions, and you have like the coteries with their set ambitions and rule sets and what type they are. I've kind of negated that.
No, we did it in season 1.
Yeah, we did in season 1, and then I was like, no, that's not what I want to play. I wanted to create a story that shows the problems of diversity. I want to show the problems of loyalties, friendship, bloodlines, clans, positions, different races, ambitions. When you need someone, when you're close, when you're apart, I do not need them to love each other all the time. I need them to need each other and sometimes love each other.
No,
But I want a great story, and great story has friction, has issues. I want them to sometimes think about killing each other. I need that.
Oh, don't worry.
And to go on that, it's sorry, quickly. That's always been one of my kind of critiques of the system of the game itself, is that it is a game that has the challenges to create a close-knit group of player characters as opposed to hanging to each other when you have one Tremere, one Nosferatu, one Ventrue, and one Brua. I mean, there's friction built in there. It's hard to find a natural and organic way to knit that different kind of clans and characters together to begin with, and just then to make it wholly common. That's always been, and I have had problems with that with playing before as well, getting that to work.
It's not very natural in the way it's set up.
Yeah.
No. So playing it the way you did it, it's the times I had most fun playing Vampire is in those sort of settings where you're bound together for some, like you said, need each other and love each other sometimes. That is a very interesting way of playing it, I think.
And
gives a lot of leeway and sets up good role playing.
But that's also why I trusted Daniel to come in with another race. He has automatically now injected himself in your world, and he's picked up my bones. And I don't know if he needs or loves any of them yet. We will see.
Yeah, he still definitely needs them. Loves is, they're dead things still. So there's a limit to how much he can love them, but
I mean, I was almost like a maiden.
They're definitely
Almost.
the most fascinating. And there's a good story to them, and for the Fae, almost said for us. No. I
Me and mine.
Sometimes the lines blur heavily to what I am, but it's fine. But yeah, it's just playing a Fae, and it's so cool to be something that's sort of story driven, not sort of just like in the meta thing of story, but as in a creature that's sort of driven by story and honor and all of that. And the fact that he knows that he desperately needs the help of these things that he doesn't like, that it's something that he knows he shouldn't be around, but it's just like, but I need them, and they've proven useful, and then he sort of also sits with the thoughts of, do I actually enjoy being around them? Was this?
Oh no!
And he's just like, no, stop. No, they're dead things.
Children shouldn't play with dead things.
But they're dead things, and so there's a real inner struggle on that, and also just tempting of just going to them and solve my problems.
Fix this thing, this place that is Boston, and it's shit.
He's a prince and gonna be a big, strong Fae, and he can't rely openly on the dead things.
I'm really looking forward to seeing where all our characters are going and where all the NPCs are going to.
In the ground, just all of us. We're just in the ground.
Push and pull us.
I'm very excited. This is, and I have to say, season 3 is gonna be the last season of this Vampire V5 story. It needs to be.
I just hope that my pearl gets sent home.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think all good things must have an ending, and I've done so many stories with amazing characters that have just fizzled out into nothing. There is a reason why fairy tales ends with a happy ever after, or the rat catcher walks into the wall with the children. There needs to be a dot to the end of a sentence. And for me, this will be season 3, where I get to come to the conclusion of a story I've spent over 4 years of thinking about. All these stories, NPCs, it needs to. But season 3 will have a lot of ups and downs. And there will be amazing heroism. There will be betrayal. There will be love lost. Maybe love gained. But for sure, there will be death.
So, because you kind of wrapped it up, we have 2 questions. That's going to, 2 final questions. And actually, it's probably going to be more to you, Katrine, but some for the group as well. There's been talk about other World of Darkness systems, as well as the amazing Hunter campaign. This is from a fan. That started off this story. So for everyone that's only looked at the vampire, they've missed an entire Hunter campaign, which it's just oozing through everything.
A lot of NPCs that have been popping up has been originally coming from that.
So one of the questions to that is there a plan to do another World of Darkness campaign in the same timeline in Boston? Do you have that? Do you have anything in your mind already?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll take a maybe, as long as I'm involved.
Because my sort of thought of that just quickly is that when I think about it, you say you're gonna finish the story instead of, and I love to see that when you see that, but I do believe you've created such an interesting setting that even though the story is finished, the setting itself has not been depleted. Potential
unless we burn down the city and everyone in it, there's still going to be something.
So Rafe Boston.
I'm not. I don't
Maybe
think,
Queenie will get her
no,
crown.
I'm not done with the setting. But after season 3 is over, I'm done with the vampire point of view. But I'm not done with the world.
Forever?
No, I'm just saying for now.
No, we're sitting in London being like, oh, have you heard about Boston? Terrible.
Terrible tea party.
Bostoners!
Terrible.
No, I'm not done with the world. I need this. This baby needs to be birthed. I need 4 years of planning. I need my finale. For you guys as well as me.
So, after season 3 is done and over, and we'll just wait in excitement to see who lives, who dies, or who dies again. What's next for us? I'm saying us because I expect all of us to want to.
I know not for any spoilers before season 3, but we're doing something else fun. Please stay tuned. We are not one trick pony. We're gonna announce it when we're ready. We're gonna do something fun. But after season 3 as well, we're definitely gonna do something fun.
So we're not
I
done.
think we got
in other
also,
words.
I think there's also a lot of other less concrete ideas as well.
Yeah.
But
we have been brainstorming, and everybody is got ideas. So we're not done.
And for way in the distant future, that one I was going to say, I ended up kickstarting something as well.
As you should.
So
and I feel left out for Aliens last time, so
we
I
gotta
want
do
some more Alien action.
I'm just saying, we played Sheriff of the Gods. There are 2 more adventures that are loosely connected.
I've said I want to storytell one of them because I'm an alien. Yes, I want that. That's in my dream. My dream future.
I'd love to play it.
I want to. But we have something coming up. I'm just saying, please pay attention because we're doing something fun.
Yeah.
Like a palate
and
cleanser.
we will try and let you know in other channels as well.
Yeah.
But and that I think we're way over time.
I know.
And we only, I think I had 3 or 4 pages here. I think maybe we did 40% of the questions. So thank you so much for all the questions that you sent in. It's so much fun seeing, reading all the engagement that you have to and all your care towards both us as players and also the characters. So yeah, thank you again for all the support and love.
Yeah, it makes what we do extra fun, that someone else is actually taking time out of their life to pay attention to these nerds doing nerdy things and giving a shit about this story that we love so much, and we want it. Yeah, we want to tell it, and yeah, please stay tuned for season 3. It will be. If you thought season 1 and season 2 and the interludes was bananas, Mamai, you've seen nothing yet.
No.
This is only warming up.
And we don't have a date yet, but it is this autumn, and it is soon.
Soon, Tian.
Yeah.
Because we can't wait too long.
No, cannot.
But then I want to sign out as I usually do. Thank you so much to my players for this beautiful Q&A. And be terrified and worried for season 3, as you should be.
Yeah.
There will be murder and no one is safe.
Yes.
Only me. And until next time, stay safe and take care of one another. Bye.
Bye.
Guys. Bye.